She is a passionate professional educator, pedagogical leader, and administrator who has been working in the educational industry for the past 2 decades. Skilled, adaptive at successfully creating a productive academic environment in schools and universities. The great mentors warmly welcome Ms. Gayatri Kanwar, Principal, BLM Academy Senior Secondary School, Haldwani. Ms. Gayatri was a member of the Sprint Team, Stanford-based soft skills program. It enables students to achieve excellence by training and facilitating them. She has completed the Cambridge Certification in Teaching English, CELTA, a Cambridge qualification recognized internationally. Ms. Gayatri has submitted her PhD thesis in English in the area of mythopoeia, titled, The Making and Unmaking of Myths in History, a study of Amish Tripathi's Shiva trilogy and Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's The Palace of Illusions from Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Ms. Gayatri was awarded on Women's Day with Award of Excellence by Amrapali Group of Institutes for exemplary contribution to society during COVID-19, the 8th of March 2021. Received the Pedagogical Leadership Award at National NEP Summit at NCERT. The 11th of September 2021. Awarded the International School Award by the British Council for successful implementation of the projects. Winner of 3rd Prize Mini Marathon, 16 kms, at Shulini University in Ladies category. Best Paper Award, The Symbiotic Relation of Mythical Stories in Transforming Human Lives.
Hello friends, she is a passionate professional educator, pedagogical leader, and administrator who has been working in the educational industry for the past 2 decades. Skilled, adaptive at successfully creating a productive academic environment in schools and universities. She was a member of the Sprint Team, Stanford-based soft skills program. It enables students to achieve excellence by training and facilitating them. She has completed the Cambridge Certification in Teaching English, a Cambridge qualification recognized internationally. Received the Pedagogical Leadership Award at National NEP Summit at NCERT, 11 September 2021. Awarded the International School Award by the British Council for successful implementation of the projects. The great mentors warmly welcome Ms. Gayatri Kanwar ma'am, Principal, BLM Academy Senior Secondary School, Haldwani. A warm welcome, ma'am, and thanks for giving your valuable time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to this lovely platform, The Great Mentors. Like I was just sharing with you that it's been a wonderful journey. When I look back, and it is thanks to you, the Great Mentors, that I got an opportunity to look back into my life and see where all, where I have reached.
It's only first we would like to know about your professional journey. Please go ahead.
Right. Actually, like I just said, that I'm a Destiny's child, and I feel that initially when I started with fashion designing. For almost I did fashion designing, coordination, then working as a QC for 5 years. And then we shifted to a small town in Una, that's in Himachal. And there, this was because of my husband's business, we all shifted there. And so once we shifted there, I started with my boutique, which really didn't take off. But then what we decided, somebody walked into my boutique and she was a teacher. And we got talking, and we really liked each other, and somehow she suggested to me, you speak very well, why don't you apply? There's a post for teacher in English. So I said, I've not done my B.Ed, so this is not going to help, they won't take me. So she says, no, but how does it matter? You go ahead and apply and let's see. So I just took that initiative. I am glad I took that initiative because it changed my life completely. I transformed. And I remember going there. So, I still tell my students, this very often. It is not your degrees that matter. It is your personality at the end of the day which matters. Because yes, I did get that job. There were quite many qualified people sitting there. But then it just happened that something clicked with the principal, and he gave me a chance. And so that was my journey. It started so much like that. And I'm so glad because once I went into the class, I realized I loved teaching. So I think teaching is God sent for me. And I just love this profession. It's such an honorable profession and it's a lovely profession. And if I would be born again and God would ask me, I would be born as a teacher again. And that's what I feel. So and so that's been my professional journey. But from then, yes, I was a TGT at that point of time. From there, I kept on qualifying myself. I did my B.Ed. I finished my B.Ed. Then I went on to do my MA English. Then I did MPhil English. Then now I've just finished my PhD in my thesis. And so I'm awaiting my Viva now. And I've done it from IGNU, Delhi. So, and that journey has been exciting as well, because there's much I learned about our Indian culture, and there is so much there that we have not explored in our own Indian culture. So when I did myths, I did on, Amish Tripathi's novel and Chitra Devkurni's Palace of Illusions. So that actually, I started looking into the books and started seeing so many aspects which could change our lives. Like, why do we read mythology? What is the reason of reading mythology? How will it help students, or how will it help me to transform my life? No, there is lots and lots of things there. Like, actually, myth is the word. I mean, myth comes from mithya, and mithya is required in your life because that's a connect with God, right? And so actually, when and I don't want to go too much in detail because that may probably bore you, but I just want to tell you that in mythology, the basic idea is that these are stories which we carry. So stories have a psychological effect, and when we narrate the stories to others, somewhere the connect is there. And especially like in Tibet, these people used to narrate stories only in the night time, the mythological stories only in the night time. Why? Because it used to give that mystical era, and that mythical connect was there, because that aura creating, and also talking about celestial gods. So that was the reason they used to do that, because they wanted to create that ambience so that the child who's listening would connect. So actually, there is much there in the power of myth. It can totally transform you. And there are many things. Actually, it's therapeutic also. It heals you also. There's much, because your emotions are attached to a story, and somewhere along the line you reflect on yourself when you hear that story. And because they say the subtlest of thoughts are the most powerful thoughts. So myth leaves you with a thought. And if I tell you, if I advise you, you will never listen to me. If I tell you, aapko subah uthna chahiye, aapko sair ke liye jana chahiye, you will never listen to me. But if I give you a subtle, suggestion, if I tell you that, this story I'm going to share with you, and I'm not advising you anything, I've just left you with that story. And then maybe that story is a mythical, like for us, if it is related to God, then imagine the kind of immense, powerful connection we will get with that. So it's so important to share these mythical stories. And now I'm so happy. I mean, I think I'm only talking and talking. I've left you alone there. But the NEP, which is a new NEP, which talks about all these things, that we must connect with the culture. We must connect with the ancient, furloughs and the traditions which we had. I feel so happy that finally we have got there. Finally, we are going to give the children what they really wanted. Because, it's like a psychological nursery. These myths are like a psychological nursery. Whenever you are hurt, we don't find answers. Aap kahan jate ho? You look into your traditions, or you look into your customs, or you look into Gita, or you look into, Upanishads or Vedas. Somewhere you try to find an answer to life. Ye kyun hua mere saath, aur aisa hone se kya hua? And they have given you a journey. They say they've taught you yoga. We have yoga, we have meditation, we have transformation, and these are all scientific things. I'm not just saying it, कि हमको ये करना चाहिए. The reason is there, is scientifically proven. Now मैं आपको बताऊंगी. Just like Archimedes, I will just share this for meditation. I'm just sharing this with you. For example, when Archimedes discovered, he said, Eureka, Eureka. Where was he? He was in a bathtub, and he was synced into the bathtub, and he was there. And he was in a state of trance where thoughts come. That's why meditation is so important, because at the place of trance, only the thoughts descend. So there he got up from the tub, and he found the law of buoyancy, and he started saying, Eureka, Eureka, and he rushed out. Similarly with Newton, when he was sitting under a tree, and he was all calm and quiet, and when the apple fell, that was the connection where he found, because and it's only in the trance, or it's only in the meditative states we find the answers of our solutions in life. But if we don't do that, and in the modern, we were not teaching our students in the modern education these things of meditation. Who has the time to meditate? Nobody has the time to meditate, but it's an essential part of a journey. It's a very important aspect. But now with the new NEP, and they are emphasizing on all these yogic practices of meditation, self-reflection, because what I feel is when we had this ancient culture, there were many good aspects about it. It's not that we can't just say there were many wonderful aspects of it, which there's, for example, we taught the children self-control first thing, then from there self-reverence, apna samman khud, because you need to have self-reverence. After self-reverence, you need to self-reflect. Was this right? Was this wrong? Did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Where does it come? Only when you're thinking quietly, or you're writing down in a journal, somewhere where you will reflect. So when you start writing down, then you realize that yes, there is more to life than just because hum pause karte hi nahi hai. We don't stop, we don't pause. So when we pause, actually we get the answers, and that's the greatest essence of life. So these are some things which I feel, and just thanks to my research, there was so much that I went into that. I mean, I was totally overwhelmed with the kind of findings I was getting about myths and why we should have these myths in our lives. So this has been a wonderful journey for me as far as my educational process and my professional development has been, and I've enjoyed each moment of it.
Thank you, ma'am. You started this educational journey as an optional, but you are a born teacher. Your talent is in that direction. I think earlier you was not in the right profession. Now you are at the age of, in fact, and your enthusiasm for learning. That's these are really, and it's going to motivate your students as well. If ma'am can do it, why we cannot?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know, I feel I'm blessed. I really feel I'm blessed because I have got, in my journey, I've met wonderful people, wonderful students, wonderful co-workers, and wonderful mentors. I totally feel that, education is a platform where it's full of blessings. Mm-hmm. Because the connect which we have, because I'm not going to take anything away from you, nor are you going to take anything away from me. Right. It's only knowledge. It's only knowledge that I can impart.
Will be shared.
Yes, and I'm just going to light your life probably with something which, and maybe somebody is going to light my life with something which I didn't know about. Right. So I feel that connect is so wonderful in education, and of course we learn from each other, and that's what the journey is all about. So. Right. Yeah, so I just feel that, and I'll just share. I started my meditation. I'll just share with you. I started meditation in 2005, mm-hmm. and it transformed me a lot. I can't say that I can just share, because I sometimes feel that when we share, we are allowing other people to peep into your life so that they may take some learning away. It's not to tell them that this is the right path, because each one finds his own path. But yes, definitely there is one thing, that when we start this, we are we are evolved. Each time we evolve as a being. Because when you write down your thoughts, because it's a journey, and in the night you sit down, you reflect, you write down a journal where you kind of thank people who have come in your life. They say positive aspects, in your life, if you reinforce them, they multiply. So they just keep multiplying, and that's how it is. But we should disassociate ourselves from negativity. It's very important, that also, because a negative thought is like poison. I'm not joking. It's just absolutely like poison. The minute you think that this is going to happen with me, and I read about a lot about it in research work also. The minute you give a negative thought, it hampers you. It hampers your growth also. What happens is that you have given a thought that this is not going to work. It will eventually not work, because your mind is extremely powerful. And it's like, it's what you feed in, you get. So if you're going to feed a negative thought that this is not working, this is not going to happen, this is never going to happen, it will never ever happen. But if you feed it with abundance, if you feed it with gratitude, if you feed it with positivity, if you feed it with love, it grows. So it's very important what you feed your life with, because you're going to, if you sow that, you will receive that. And it's a fact. So this is something which, this is something very close to me. This is something which I just feel I would love to share with people, this aspect. That's why I shared it over here on the platform.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Really, you are having a lot of positive thought, and you also focus on this positive thoughts and its importance.
Yes, I know it. Definitely, it's very important, because see, positive thinking is a mental attitude, right? And you have to be optimistic. See, a glass can be half full or half empty. The choice is yours.
Right.
If you want to live the life for eternal optimist, then you have to see the glass half full, not half empty. So it's very important. Your perception brings the people in your life. It's your perception, because you can see, oh, it's half empty, then it leads to worries. And worries are nothing but they are misguided thoughts.
Right.
So, if you can channelize your thoughts and you can tell them, and if you tell yourself that these are just worries, these are just misguided thoughts, but my goal is this, my goal, and it can be anything. You need to visualize yourself where you want to be. If you want to see yourself as, maybe as a professor, or maybe as a cricketer, maybe as an actor, or whosoever you want to be. But if you can see yourself there, you will be there if you visualize yourself. And that's also a practice. Actually, what they say in visualization is it's a technique which you can learn, and you need to do it for 6 weeks regularly, at least 10 minutes in a day. So, and that practice, when you do a visualization, you start getting the benefits of it. But there are many other things added with it, like writing a journal, adding, your own thoughts, having a clarity of yourself. What is your goal and where you want to reach? Sometimes, I feel the children, I wish they would get to know this very early in life, because I feel that I found it along the way. And now I am coming to the other end of the life, and where I have found that these are so important. I wish I could have given it to the children, right at the beginning of their life, so that the minute they are filled, because, appreciation is very important. Any child who does even a smallest of work, he needs to be applauded. His work should be joyous. He should love his work. He should love to come to school. He should enjoy the process of learning, because that will help him build as a robust, a totally developed, individual. Otherwise, what is going to happen is that he will be somewhere, if the education is fair, it's not going to help us. हमारी पहले होती थी ना डंडा मार. So that doesn't work. It should come from love. And the minute you see that the child's love is there, he will learn it in minutes. He will just learn. So you have to evoke those feelings of love within the child, that he must love that subject. If you love your subject, definitely he's going to love your subject. But if you don't have the passion for your subject, it's very difficult to bring it across. So first is your passion for your subject.
Right. That is very much required. Until and unless I must feel energized, how can I transfer my energy to another?
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, teaching is also a kind of transfer of energy. Until and unless the teachers are keep themselves in high energy state, they cannot motivate the students.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And of course, something there is called as failure. Failure is of course a part of life. You also have some points about that. Can you elaborate, please?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I always feel that failures are a stepping stone, right? And they are just as we move forward. I will just share with you, like, if Einstein would have, I mean, like, I'm not Einstein, sorry, Edison, if he would have given up on his making of bulb, what would have happened was that, we wouldn't have electricity. But his thought process was, I mean, look at the thought process of an optimistic person. He said that, I found 10,000 ways of not making electricity. So he said that that was just 10,000 ways of not making electricity, but then eventually that led to so everything in life is a learning. I never think of it as a failure. And it's important for the children to realize that these are stepping stones. I mean, it's okay if you fail. I mean, I cannot call it failure, because somewhere along the line, it is actually success. You're coming much closer to success because you're just one step closer to success. So if you think from that perspective, yes, definitely you are getting there. So I mean, and parents, unfortunately, they make a huge hue and cry about ranks, positions, but I feel in that stress, the child is lost. So it's important for the child to realize that, like, not for the child, for the parents to realize that they should not, put so much pressure on the child so that he cannot evolve as a, being, because he has to learn from that journey. It's not everybody is not a mathematician. Everybody is not a musician. Everybody cannot be, any other profession, as a doctor, could be. Everybody has their own strengths, and each child is a gem. Each child has that innate ability in him or her which shines forth. It's our work. It's our work to find that child within him and what's his strength. So, I mean, and I just love being with the children. They are so innocent and they're so full of joy. I think just, if you have a day of worry, just go there, sit with them for 2 minutes, and you forget everything. And because they are bubbling with joy and laughter. They say, if you want to find God, look into the eyes of a 4-year-old. They have an innocence and purity. And I love talking to because 4 years old and 5 years old. I love going into the KG section and standing there and talking to them, because there is so much innocence and love there. It's I'll share one incident with you. This is in my when I was I also taught, like, I forgot to tell you this. I also taught because we revamped kindergarten. So I went to to kindergarten, and they gave me LKG, that was lower KG. And there I asked the students, I'm talking about innocence, how innocence works. And I asked the students, they were leaving LKG and they were going to go to the next class. So I asked the students, I said, can you please tell me who doesn't like Gayatri ma'am? Please raise your hands. And can you believe, I thought nobody will raise their hands, but 3 children raised their hands. This is LKG. And I said, then I was like, okay. And then I called them and I said, I must find out why they don't like me, So, one of them came up and said, I mean, like he said, aap jhoot bolte ho. And I said, I was like, I was stunned for a minute. I said, okay. I said, haan, kaise aap kaise keh sakte ho? Aap roz, I used to go for a walk every day in the evening in front of his house, and he used to swing on the gate each evening. So I used to cross and he used to say, ma'am, aap ghar aao. And I used to say, haan, main kal aaungi. So I used to always say that, and I used to walk away. And then he says, aap roz bolte mere ghar aoge, aap aate nahi ho. And that really shook me. Honestly, it shook me, because there was somebody who was telling you that we are doing small lies, but we don't need them. And it was a great revelation for me. And I said, no, I must, do some remedies on this. I did, in fact, go to his house so that, the child, and these are small incidences, which I just wanted to share. And there were two more, and they had other reasons also, where they said, ma'am, you come walk into the class and you shout at us and you never say good morning. And you teach us good morning, but you shout at us and say, keep quiet, because they are so noisy. And the minute I used to say, I said, keep quiet, everybody. I said, you never greet us good morning, though you tell us that you have to greet everybody good morning. Again, there was a big shock and a revelation for me. Imagine from a 4-year-old. And I said, that's true. And that's absolutely true. I used to do that. And these children are pure and genuine. They are gems. They are absolute gems. So, I mean, these are things where you can learn so much. If you want to learn from life, you can even learn from a 4-year-old. And actually, you should. This is what my conclusion is, that yes, definitely. I don't know what question you had asked. I think I moved away from it.
My question was accepting failure as a stopping, as a stepping stone. You want
actually,
to...
Yeah, it's just that I would just say, yes, appreciation is very important for the children. Even the smallest of the work which they do, they must be applauded, because it brings them a sense of satisfaction, and that they are actually progressing in the right direction. So I would think this is a, reinforcement is very, very important for children. So, and for us also. If you're doing a good job, somebody should say that yes, you're doing a remarkable job. And like I would just said to you also, that yes, you gave us a platform, so it's a thank you to you as well. So
thank you so much.
We must always be grateful. Yes.
You also focus on attitude for gratitude.
Yes, that's
attitude
right.
For gratitude. How do we focus this on attitude?
Actually, when we talk about attitude or gratitude, it's someone who's full of thankfulness for life. It also means that, you cultivate a sense of attitude, which is a conscious habit. You have to develop conscious habit to express yourself. And, every part of your life, you should, somewhere along the line, find the time to express these things. So it could be, notice good things which are happening in your life. And, I tell this to my students very often, that, it's very important to look into your life and note down the good things which are happening. Because, especially, it's very disturbing. When I was looking at the statistics of India, in the lockdown, we had cases of depression which rose to 65%. Okay. And depression, yes, and 45% was the before rate. So it was very alarming. And when we talk about gratitude, when we start seeing the good things in life, and we should nurture them, write them down in a diary. And because these help because that's why when we say, we have good memories of the past, these are things which reinforce you. They maintain the balance and bring back the goodness in life. So we can, we kind of bounce back from there. So this is very, very important. We must savor and we must, absorb those good times as a bank balance, so that whenever, you feel somewhere, you feel lost somewhere, you can reflect on your past childhood. Mummy sa time bitaya tha, ya papa ke sath bitaya tha, or maybe that picnic school had taken us on, or maybe that outing there where we had gone, or where, and then second thing, I feel we must do things for others. Very important. Happiness only comes when we do things for others. And it's important, even if it's opening a door for somebody else. You shouldn't be the first one, like, okay, mere ko nikalna hai, because it should be somebody who can come along. You open the door for somebody, you do small things for other people. So it really brings a lot of joy into their life. That yes, that importance where when you give to another person, it matters. In fact, our school in the lockdown, we did a lot for the underprivileged in the lockdown period. Yes, and I think it was a selfish reason, because it gave us a lot of joy, not for any other reason. But I feel that everything it is the self, because yes, we teach the children that yes, you must definitely do this, because it's your duty as a human being. It's your first duty is to humanity. Anybody who's out on the street, he's your brother or your sister. You must reflect that. It doesn't mean that only your blood, only your blood brothers and sisters they're not just your blood brothers and sisters. Anybody out, he's an Indian, but he's on the street. He is your brother or he is your sister. What is it that we can do? But when you do, why I'm saying it's selfish, because there's a sense of joy in it. Because when we do for others, and their smile and their joy is infectious, you start feeling happy too. So it's a very important to have this attitude of gratitude. That's why I was expressing that these children, and especially the young children, somehow they are too engrossed in their, in their gadgets, digital devices. Yes, they give momentary joy, but if you really want to find real joy, you have to step out and affect somebody else's life. You find true joy. That is true joy and true real joy.
Right.
So that's
Very
why
true.
that's why I feel this attitude of gratitude.
And nowadays it is much required for all these young generations.
Yes, absolutely.
And you are very inclined towards mystical stories.
Yeah.
And you also believe that these mystical stories transform human beings.
Absolutely.
Can you give some of your experiences? Can you share some of your experiences regarding this?
Yes, like I said to you that I had done my research in myth only. It is mythopoeia. So it is the power of myths, and how human beings can be changed with these mythical notions. And what happens it establishes a pattern in the human psyche. So the mythical stories actually I'll just kind of share with you. Myth means mithya. And mithya is something which is okay. I think I'll share a story with you which will make more sense. Then because I'll just share a short. This is a incident which happened with Einstein. I was going to share that earlier, but I thought I'll share it now. What happened was that there was a lady who came up to Einstein and she said, I want my son to become just like you. So Einstein looked at him and who looked at her, and then he said, okay. So she says, can you just help me? What is it that I can inculcate in him so that he becomes like you? So he says, go and read him fairy tales. So he said, fairy tales? She said, okay, fine, I'll read fairy tales to him. After that, what should I do? He said, read even some more fairy tales. She says, okay, I will do that. He says, and after that, she says, even more fairy tales. So, and then he left with a smirk. So what it tells us is that it's important. Why? Because this fairy tales takes you to a mystical world. It's an imaginary world. It's a world of supernatural where we, actually, this is Joseph Campbell. He's one of the mythologists. He says this, that, myths are very important in our life. Like, for example, I think if I relate it to the layman, then it'll be easier for you to understand. So I'm giving you these examples. So what happens is that, for example, when a kangaroo is born, he is born, but he can't stand on his feet, the baby kangaroo. So what does the mother kangaroo do? She puts him in the pouch, in her own pouch. She keeps him there, nurtures him till he finds his own feet, then he can stand there. That's what myths do to us. That's why we have to start right from the beginning for the children. Because what happens is that when we tell them these myths, they find that essence in them. Because we are teaching them so many things through the myths. For example, even if we take this Nal and Damayanti story, in that actually, I don't know if you know the story, but because when I was doing my research, I did a lot of reading. So in that we had Nal and Damayanti, and in which they are, of course, they are talking with. This is a concept of true love, right? And she wanted to marry Nal. And there was a swambar in which all of them were standing. The Devtas had taken the swaroop of Nal and they were standing. They said, if it is your true love, you will find out who it is. And she said, yes, I will. So she walked across and she saw there was one person who had perspiration on the forehead and he was nervous. And she realized that it was Nal, because rest, it wouldn't have mattered if she wouldn't have chosen them, but to him it mattered. So she could find out. So these are things. And then of course he was really into gambling, and he was not as such. So all the transformation which took place in him, and how he overcame his bad habits, and how he transformed as a human being, these stories which leave these children with a sense of, yes, we can transform ourselves. Like I told you last time, like if we tell you straight away that, you have to change, you will not. But if a story leaves you, you'll think about it. Yes, if he could change, because you identify with the hero. And we love watching movies. There's a reason behind it. We identify somewhere along with it, that I wouldn't say you would imagine yourself as a heroine, but somewhere you identify with the process. And when there's a very traumatic scene, you are really touched. And when there is a scene of laughter, you're laughing, because stories affect you psychologically. They have a greater impact. And especially in the young children, they must be told stories, because it becomes a psychological nursery from them. From there, they grew. So in our ancient tradition, we had this. We had this system of, that's why I was talking to you about NEP 2020, and I was saying that they've started this, ancient culture, and where we're talking about Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat, where we are mixing, cultures. We are going to broaden our vision and get more stories from them, exchange the culture. Like for Uttarakhand, we've got Karnataka, and our school, participated in that. So we learned about the dresses, their habits, the culture, their dialogue, their food, and there was much more. So children enjoyed that process. So what happens? It gives you a vision. It's just not this. This is not just your world. You grow beyond that. So, and the minute we keep giving them things to grow beyond, children are very absorbed. I mean, like they can absorb from the environment so quickly. They're like sponges. You give them a good environment, they quickly grab from it.
Right. Very well explained, ma'am. Really, these are very necessity actually. It's unfortunate that these things are coming very late, which needs to be imbibed in the students, in our children. Through this, empathy is can also be instilled in them. That is very much required, because tomorrow they are going to be a big part of the society. So all these things are very much required. And you have really very broader knowledge about all these things. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your insights in this direction. It's a new kind of thing what you shared with us on our platform. Thank a lot, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shilji, for inviting me.
Some valuable suggestions for parents, teachers, and students.
Yes, definitely. I think I've said quite a lot about children and nurturing them. I think a loving home is very important. Nurturing the child, but not spoiling him. Giving him the sense of wrong and right is very important, right? Because it's informal education, but it's important. Yes, somehow parents these days have, we live in a nuclear family, but when we had a joint family system, so they learned sharing. So they automatically learned sharing because everything was to be shared. And now that we have secular families, we must teach them to share. And we can. It's because I always think on the aspect of everything can be done. And like you just said, something that at the moment you just said that I wish this would have done earlier, but I feel whenever it has to start, it starts then. I'm glad we have started now of all this. NEP has changed and we are going to do a lot of things. We're going to evaluate education in the it is going to be a continuous learning evaluation. So all these kind of things is important. But I would share with the parents that definitely we must teach them sharing. We must make them more, empathetic for other people. Put yourself in the shoes of others, and first is humanity. First comes humanity, then comes religion. Because we should not segregate right at the beginning of life. They are just crawling out of their shells, and we start dividing them, that we are this, we are that. Yes, of course we are Indians, no doubt about that. Then your religion is humanity. I would say this to all parents, that inculcate these higher values in them. Because as far as I am concerned, yes, we learn from the process of life. And I feel that we must have gratitude. These things which I just talked about, have compassion for others, have gratitude, keep a journal, write down, have self-reflective themes, adopt meditation, do yoga. There's much there besides just learning and cramming, because that's not just real education. The real education actually lies where the child evolves and your heart is involved.
Really, ma'am. Thank you so much for your all inputs, and hopefully it's going to benefit these parents as well, and that may also benefit to those teachers who are listening us and who keep upgrading themselves. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your valuable time and being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.